Great experiences build great leaders. Great leaders build great teams. This is Building Great Sales Teams.
All right, guys, welcome back to Building Great Sales Teams. I'm super excited for this one today. We got Mike Schill. He's the founder at the Full Circle Agency. He's also an executive producer for the movie Brickell Drive and Lanier. And Lanier is actually premiering next month on September 9th. Mike's also a former D1 athlete at Florida State University. Michael, welcome to the show, brother.
What's up, man? What's up? Happy Tuesday. What's up, everybody, man? Excited for the conversation, and man, we're getting this thing going.
I love it. I love the energy, brother. Okay, so I got to go to when you were playing ball. What was the hardest matchup you had playing ball?
That's a great question, man. That's a great question. You know what? I'll say this much, man. I'll say this much. Some of the loudest games were obviously UF and those boys over in Gainesville. And orange and blue still irritates the dog, you know what, out of me. But what I will say is this: I was very humbled at the opportunity to be at Florida State during a time where Bobby Bowden was on his way out, and Jimbo Fisher was on his way in. And in 2013, about a year before or a year after I left, right? They won a national championship. So the pedigree and the talent that was on our team in 2011, 2012, I mean, those were some of the best ball players in the country. And that led to that national championship that was won by that team respectively in 2013. So some of the hardest matchups were in practice, man. I remember getting ran over by a guy by the name of Nigel Bradham. I remember getting popped on just a simple play that we were running in practice by the running back Chris Thompson, like, you know, or doing one-on-one drills with guys like Jeremiah Fortson and Kenny Shaw. Like these are real-time ball players right now.
Yeah.
And so some of the most serious competitive one-on-ones that were in practice, believe it or not. And I think that is the reason why, you know, the great teams are the great teams. That's why Alabama is Alabama. That's why Texas A&M is Texas A&M. I mean, they see some of the best runs with, you know, Monday through Friday. It's incredible, actually. So,
dang, man, I love it. I love it so much. And it makes a lot of sense, you know, when you look at your social media right now and everything that's coming out on it. It's competitive, it's charismatic, you know, and that's the first thing that attracted me to it. And I would imagine a lot of that was fostered in those practices. I hope my wife doesn't listen to this though, because you just said A&M was one of the better teams, and me and her have been going back and forth because our daughter is college bound. She's a bookworm. She's one of those, you know what I mean? And we keep going back and forth. I'm a UT t-shirt fan my whole life. You know what I mean? So I have a strong argument here, you know. But
I'm drawn to Texas A&M because Jimbo. But
okay.
Hey, UT, hey, let's go, man, because my brother's 100% UT, nothing else but UT. Go Texas, go Longhorns.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Well, where did movies come into the picture? I feel like that kind of came in sideways with everything. So where did movies come in?
100%. It came in, you know, by the grace of the man above, number one. But number two, and something that I think is incredibly important, and I'm just figuring this out and doubling down on this thing is the importance of network, right? And the importance of, listen, you know, I had the opportunity to work alongside a multi-billionaire for 5 years on the world's baddest sales team, okay? And the inflow and the amount of conversations that I was having there, I realized at the beginning, hey, these are relationships that I need to foster, but make sure you have an impact on the people so that they remember you. And that whole process, or that whole thought process was backed by what was told with us while in that organization. It ain't about who you know, bro. Like, okay, so you got Buddy's number in your cell phone. Okay, cool. It's about who knows you. It's about who the hell's actually going to pick up I can have X, Y, and Z's contact, but are they actually going to pick up and have a 10-minute conversation with me? Or are they going to blow me off? And I think it was that who knows you that led to the opportunity to get into the entertainment space. And we're really excited about Lake Lanier, and there's so much historical background about that lake that a lot of people aren't in the know of if you're not from the southeast part of the United States. And so that's how that happened, and it's opened up the door for a couple other things, and very, very humbled at that opportunity and excited for it, man. Excited for it,
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. Since I was like 12 or 13 years old, I wanted to be a director in the movies. You know what I mean? And then I saw the bill for the Art Institute in New York, and I was like, oh, maybe not. That's an expensive business, man. That's an expensive business. But I love what I do now. Life works out that way for a reason.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
so
Yes,
you
sir.
mentioned you mentioned working with Grant Cardone. I have a funny story, a not so proud moment of mine. I proud at first, right? Because he actually invited me out to be on his show, Power Players. I was on the web series. I don't know if you remember that. Yeah. And at the time, I had 100+ sales reps and door to door, and so he wanted to kind of he wanted to kind of highlight that story and everything, and that was cool. And then afterwards, Jared closed my ass on the training program. And I was just, I was 26. I had just topped 4.5 million, you know what I mean? So I'm up here and I'm not paying attention. And of course, my guys don't implement it. They don't use the software or anything. And then we had a downturn in a couple years and I wasn't able to pay the bill. So I actually got sued by Grant Cardone. Like I said, not my proudest moment, but I have a ton of respect for Grant. I understand the business side of it, so I didn't take it personally. But what did you learn from that whole experience? I mean, you just talked about making an impact on people and what they remember, and that determines whether they're going to pick up the phone or not. Anything else in that process? Are you still using those sales strategies today?
Oh my God. I mean, listen, I will use the same principles that were bestowed onto us for the rest of my life, man. I mean, what did I learn in that organization? It's kind of like asking, a person that goes to the New England Patriots, what do you learn while playing for Belichick? Bro, we learn something new every single second of every single day. And I was there for almost 5 years. So, it would be crazy for me to say one or two things that I learned. I learned hundreds of thousands of millions of things, but, man, the importance of training is everything. But training without application means absolutely nothing. So you need to apply what it is that you train on every single day. We learned that, sales is solely effective communication, right? It's a numbers game. It's the amount of outreaches. You got to understand the entire sales process. You got to know where you're at when you're in the sales process, right? Objections that happen in the meet and greet and fact finding, you can't handle those objections the same way you would handle them if they come up in the close. From being able to speak at a high level with big time CEOs, big time decision makers. I'm not talking about $2 million or $20 million guys or $30 million guys. I'm talking about $3 billion guys and $4 billion guys, like the big dogs of the world. How do you carry yourself? How do you present? How do you speak in front of a room? How to keep the damn switch on when everybody else turns their switch off at night and stops. Like, how the hell do you keep going and just, man, just overall operating like a goddamn billionaire? That's it. That's what I learned. And that's what I saw. And thankful for it, man. Thankful for it. But there's so much that we learned. Listen, you learn more in 1 month working there than you would working in a different organization for 5 years. Guaranteed 1,010%. But you're averaging 38,000 to 42,000 outbound cold calls a year. Humans don't do that in their entire lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just incredible, the amount of outflow, the amount of demand, the amount of focus, and the amount of absolute push and frequency was involved every single second of every single day. And if you didn't meet the standard, you were fired right then and there. It didn't matter how much revenue you brought in. It only mattered, are you on track, and are you on pace to hit the target? And do you have 110% buy-in to what we're accomplishing? And if any of those stats go down, you're out.
Yeah.
You know. So wildness. It was wildness. It was awesome. Awesome.
Man, and that's operating at a whole nother level than you see sales teams operate at in general right now. I mean, when you hear that as a listener of this show, right away, you'd be like, well, if I did that to my guys, I'd lose them all today. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of them aren't operating at that full potential. In your opinion, having been part of, you know, a winning culture at Florida State, having been part of a culture like Cardone's, and now creating your own, what is that difference maker for you? And because everybody says minimum standards, hold the line, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to, you know, lead by example, all these things, you know, that we get on social media or from our favorite influencers, our consultants. For you, how are you going to, I guess, maintain that type of culture in your company?
Yeah. So, you know, you ever notice that the people you take advice from, or the people that you actually buy on into, are the people that are doing the thing that they ask you to do, and they're probably doing it 10 times better with 10 times the speed than you have the ability to achieve it in? Like that's the same thing. Like that's what I saw. You know, it's cliche. It's kind of cliche to say, you know, the leaders got to do it. And we all know that, like, you got to lead by example, but you, like, that is the only people, we were always told, people believe what they see, not what they hear.
Right.
I guarantee you, for the greats of the greats, that they do everything it is that they say they're going to do. And what they asked of you to do, they've already done 100 times and gotten results, the same results that it is that you are looking for. So like that's what I see, man. And that's what I saw. And that's what I'm looking to bestow within our organization of what we got going on over here. You really got to run, man. Like you got to run. Like you, the statement, the line is, the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack, right? And so you got to run, man. Like you got to go. Like if you're asking your guys to be on the phone for 7 hours, well, you better be at the office for 11.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just you gotta consistently show up. And once you consistently show up for you and for yourself, people will start showing up for you. And holding people to a high level and a high standard is one thing, but what is the repercussion if they don't get those things, you know? And setting a proper example on, hey, listen, it's a one strike, 2 strike, 3 strike, you're out. And there is no favoritism. There is no, oh, well, gray area. It is black and white. And, you know, if people ain't built like that, okay, they're not built like that, but then that's not a person that's built to win a championship. That's not a person that I honestly want to go to war with. That's not a person that I want to be on my team. It's not a person that I need to be sitting next to. And you do you, and I'll do me. And then the building that you're living in here in 10 years, I'll own the whole damn block. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just 2 different levels, 3 different levels, 4 different levels. So that's what I would say. The biggest thing is you just got to do the thing that it is that you say other people have to do.
Right.
You just got to do it, man. Like you got to do that over and over and over and over again, you know?
So the 2 things I took from that is the first one is the leadership by example, right? But one of the things that you said I think is important. You know, if you expect your guy to be on the phone for 7 hours, then you better be at the office for 11. So it's not this concept of, oh, I have to be on the phone for 8 hours or 11 hours. It's like you have to do whatever your zone of genius is or whatever makes the company money or working on the business instead of in the business. You've got to be doing it at the same intensity that they have to do theirs at, because that's what they need to see. They don't need to see you doing their job. They need to see you doing your job. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Or your role in the company, right? And then the second thing you talked about was it needs to be black and white. And this is one of my favorite concepts within side of building sales teams is,
Mhm.
when you look at a comp plan, it should be in black and white. I should be able to put it on paper and show it to you. If it's
Correct.
any more complicated than that, then we're gonna have issues and we're gonna have misunderstandings, right? And then an opportunity structure, same thing. I should be able to put it in black and white and show it to you on paper or PDF or however we want to do it these days, right?
Hmm.
And I love that concept of black and white because there is no argument. It's there in writing. You just have to go get it, right? And
Totally.
so no, I appreciate those two things right there for sure. Okay, let's kind of pivot a little bit and go
Yeah.
tactical, right?
Hell
And
yeah.
so one of the industries that I'm getting a lot of inquiries from, having a lot of conversations with and new clients in is roofing. Roofing
Mm.
seems to be this industry that's just blowing up like crazy, especially in Florida
Absolutely.
and and over here in Texas. And to me, it's one of the biggest gaps of knowledge between, all right, the roofing owner or the roofing salesperson, works for another company and then starts his own business. And, they know trades, they know the trade of roofing. But I've seen
Hmm.
more owners than anything cross this $1 million threshold. And they're like, okay, how do I scale my sales team? Or how do I scale my lead gen? You know, or how do I, structure my guys to manage the new guys coming in, so
Hmm.
leadership structure and then operational structure. So they're jumping into this growth and development stage. And so I feel like that's one of the spaces that needs the most help right now. And we have a lot of listeners that are roofing companies and
Awesome.
roofing salespeople. So in your mind, let's just say you buy a roofing company tomorrow.
Okay.
What are you attacking first besides like culture and operations and marketing and sales? What are you attacking first?
Yeah, I'm attacking. I'm attacking mind and market share from the potential consumer, and I'm going to take a look at what our digital footprint, our marketing and advertising footprint looks like. That I'm going to attack that personally. I would attack that with the executives, with the other people that sit at that round table, right?
Mhm.
Now, with that being said, in addition to in correspondence with like at the same exact time.
Mhm.
I'm attacking the sales process, man. I'm attacking how these guys are knocking on the doors. I'm
Okay.
attacking the types of questions that they're asking. I'm attacking, um, if appointments are being set, what is the quality of the appointment that's being set that justifies an actual door knocker to go to that home, right?
Mhm.
Is the decision maker there? Do they have the facts and figures? Are there case studies, testimonials, and potential pricing? Do they have a selfie video? Have I connected with them on LinkedIn? Am I tagging them in articles that it is that I'm writing as it relates to roofing or anything associated with that space? Like, what is
Mhm.
my overall process from start to finish? And how do I take time out of the equation? That would be, that's anything and everything.
Right.
Now, on top of that, training is happening every single day from a customer
Mhm.
facing standpoint.
Mhm.
It like immediately. And customer service gets training too, right? So it would be an attack on 3 or 4 fronts all at the exact same time from the trade standpoint and the start to finish from like that manual labor and that project and whatnot. Like that's a
Yeah.
different element. And I
Right.
understand it. I get it. I've worked a ton with roofers, HVAC, solar, home restoration, fencing, plumbing. Like I've worked with those guys before. That's a whole different deal. You gotta have that in check, otherwise, what the hell are you selling, right? So you're getting that in
Yeah.
check.
Yeah.
Like that's a no brainer. But man, that conversation and that outreach, taking time out of the sales process in alignment with that marketing and advertising footprint that we would have in a specific demographic in a specific region and understanding what separates us from
Mhm.
most and then going in on that as far as our branding is concerned. But
Yeah.
that's I mean that's what you would have to do to optimize.
Yeah.
At
I
least
love
I feel.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love the answer on this because, it's really in my wheelhouse in terms of the sales program. You're
Mhm.
going right at the sales process, which I love your answer on that because, obviously you have an agency, and you would think that, okay, someone that has an agency would go right after the marketing, would go right after the, all right, what are we spending on new leads coming in and optimizing that process. But you recognize that, hey, if the leads come in and there's nothing there, or it's not a good sales process, then I'm wasting my money, right? And so
Mhm.
that being said, what are some of the things you feel like in home services that business owners need to pay more attention to, and could have a huge impact in their business right now if they just attack this one thing?
Easy customer service. Customer service, man. I was just talking to my guy yesterday. Um, Big time Airbnb guy down here in Miami, Florida. His name's Greg Wood. Very, very, very close. One of my best friends too. And he owns a number of properties. And we were just talking about this guy has a ticket out for about $72,000 for a pool. And here in Miami, he's been through three businesses, home service, three businesses to try to get someone to come out to his house. The first business that he was in contact with didn't get to his house, right? And it was 3.5 weeks. He said, the hell with that. Went to a second one. The second one said, yeah, we'll get you a call back tomorrow. They didn't call him back for 5 days. And when they did call him back, they said, hey, it's going to be another 7 days before we can have another conversation. And then the third company he literally just sent me a screenshot on this, said, hey, we understand your request. We will not be able to get back in contact with you for the next 5 to 7 days. And that was an automated email. Customer service. It's crazy. In markets and industries where the demand is so high, yeah, you can get away with not having it efficiently, not having it properly, and you're still going to close deals. And if your pipeline is so damn fat, it doesn't matter. Well, you know what? Sadly, you can rock with it. You can rock with it, and that's completely fine. But I will say that how people talk about your organization will indirectly affect your organization and its ability to produce revenue, if not today, in the future. And when the going gets tough, like during COVID, that separated real business owners from fake business owners, real salespeople from fake salespeople, and real time operations from just order taking like your Wendy's or McDonald's. And honestly, if you're Wendy's or McDonald's, you don't have a business because you ain't selling anything. You're just taking an order. And so, I'll say that customer service piece is everything. And customer service doesn't necessarily have to be after the sale is consummated. Customer service throughout that initial point of contact, all the way on through to where the project is closed and you're asking for 3 referrals. Customer service, bro, like customer service, honestly.
Man, I've got so much alignment in what you just said because I'm experiencing it right now. I just started consulting for this company. They're a pool installation company in Tucson. And I'm looking at their sales process, and there's like this complicated qualification process, and they're not getting out of the customer's home for a couple days at minimum. And it's like, oh, we need to make sure that, they understand how much this is going to cost first. We need to make sure that they understand how long the install is going to take. We need to do all this stuff before we go out to the customer's home. And I'm like, lead comes in, schedule an appointment, go out to the customer's home. Like
100%.
That's my process. Get in front of the customer. Because in my mind, what I understand about sales is, there's digital sales or messaging, right? Phone calls, right? When they actually hear our voice, maybe virtual, and then there's in person. And in my mind, as you go down that list, your closing rate gets higher and higher and higher. Because look, if we're in person, we're shaking hands, we're doing business. You know what I mean? And so I want to get to doing business as fast as possible. But what you're saying is so true, though, because we have all these automations and, we have ability to build these badass CRMs, and we have this ability to use AI to bolster all those things. It's like people are doing less and less and less work, are trying to do less and less work in the sales process. And that's where the customer service starts. It's like, hey, I want this thing. My impulse is the highest it's ever going to be in this whole process is when I call you, right?
Yes.
Literally, as soon as I hang up that phone, my impulse is decreasing now. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. Yeah,
And
man.
so it's crazy to me that we're not all over it from the get-go. But starting out in door-to-door sales, you in I'm assuming over the phone sales, like that, hey, we got a time limit of impulse and we got to get on it and have that conversation and raise that impulse while we're having that conversation, and then close. Close as
Totally.
quickly as we can. I mean, we got to do some measurements and stuff for a pull, but we got to get to the home as fast as possible. So I love that
Mm-hmm.
you told that story because it's so true. And you're 100% right. Like your pipeline can be fat, but as soon as you get punched in the mouth, it's over because your customer service was crap the whole time. You got 3.5 on Google reviews. You know what I'm saying? And you're not the best game in town. You were just getting the I guess easy pickings from the company that
Low hanging
was
fruit.
in the customer service. Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah,
so
no, it's that low hanging fruit, man. Sorry to interrupt you. It's that low hanging fruit, and yeah, man. Like, I think there's a statistic out there. It was in the university platform that we train on. By the way, I still train on sales every single day, every single morning, every single
mhm,
morning. But I think it's like you increase the probability of closing by somebody by over 523% if you get in contact with the inquiry within the first 5 minutes. Like
hell yeah.
523%, or it's like 523 or 527%, somewhere in that ballpark range.
Hmm.
Like, speed is everything. And you also got to realize that if someone's calling you, inquired about you, they're at a different stage in the sales process. They may not be in the meet and greet. They may not be in the fact finding. Hell, they may already know prices because their neighbor next door just got the same
Yep.
project installed and delivered. Like, it may just literally be you showing up, saying what the price is. They're ready to move forward. They sign on the dotted line in less than an hour, and you're rocking and rolling. Like, it's just you got to treat everybody with urgency. You got to treat everybody like a buyer, and you got to treat everybody like you need to close the deal. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be desperate, because when
Right.
you're desperate, people can feel that, but you got to actually give a damn. Like, you have to give a damn. Like, I don't know. It's crazy,
Well,
but yeah, I don't know. It's wild,
I
wild,
think
it's
I think
wild
that's
stuff.
where that passion comes in, though. You know, I've sold products before that I wasn't passionate about or I didn't believe were the best on the market. It didn't last long. I did that for like a
Mhm,
whole month, and I was like, I'm out. I'm not excited about
mhm.
this. And so when people ask, what's the secret to sales? Well, believe in your product. Believe your product is the best on the market. Not have to believe or like make yourself believe. Like truly believe
Mhm.
that, or don't work with the product you know and if you do believe that your product is the best on the market and you are passionate about your product, guess what? They're going to feel that. They're going to feel it through the
Hell
phone. They're going to feel it through the messaging or your social media or in person, obviously. And so I think that's huge that you said that, because I think more of business owners need to hear that, and need to understand that, hey, maybe I don't have the best conversion rates because I haven't put everything I can possibly put into my product, and I'm doing what the market says to do, or I'm doing the minimum standard in terms of customer service and everything. But if we go and be above and beyond in the actual service and then the customer service, the sales process gets easier, the conversion rates get easier because they believe in the product more because they see it happening every day you know
And listen, this belief thing, everything we were always taught. One of my mentors, Brandon Dawson, who's a partner with Cardone, he sold his last company at 77 times EBITDA, the highest publicly traded exit of a company in the history of
Wow.
mankind. 77 times EBITDA. That's just banana stuff. But he always said that every problem that a business has comes from the business owner. It doesn't come from the people that you bring on board. If they were so, if everything was on them, then they would run the business. It's all on you. So listen, if your people don't believe in your, you got to ask yourself first things first, or how can I get my people to believe in the product? What does your morning meeting look like? And do you have morning meetings every single day? And in the morning meetings, are you highlighting testimonials and case studies? Are you showing that people in the community that have had that product or service delivered to them are raving about you? Like, you have to sell your employees on the fact that what they represent is better than everybody else's, because to a degree, they're not going to be sold on what it is that they sell. They're there for a job. They're there to provide financial stability for their family or for themselves or whatever it may be. You got to believe in your product so much, and then you got to get your people to believe in the product so much. And that's a responsibility that that business owners have to take. Like you have to do that stuff. And it, in the previous organization I was a part of, they did that to us every single day, sometimes twice a day, 3 times a day, like over and over and over and over again. And then it just got to the point where even though we knew we had an incredible product, it got to the point where we really thought we were the best. And honestly, man, I still think that that's the best training when applied, like from a digital standpoint, compared to anybody's. Like it just is, and it's partially what it did to my life. It's what I've seen it do for other people. And part of me being able to see what it's done for other people is from the business owners or the business or the executives putting that in our freaking faces every single day. You gotta do that, man. Like you have to do that. You have to do that. And if you don't do that, well, then people are going to be unsold. And to the degree you are sold, you will sell. They always told. To the degree you are sold, you will sell. Your wife is sold on Texas A&M. You're sold on UT. You guys sell on it all the time, but you're sold on that. So that's how you sell it. You sell it every time it comes up. So, hey, man, like that's on the business owners too, bro. Like straight up.
I'm not doing a very good job selling UT right now because UT is in Austin, and Austin is rough right now. It is rough over there. But, it's still the Longhorns, baby. So,
yes, sir. Let's go.
I'm doing my best. Okay, so one of the things I noticed is you're not as active on Facebook as you are on Instagram. And I was curious about it because, there's this strategy of omnipresence. You're duplicating your efforts across multiple social medias, but we also know that different social medias want different things, right? So what is your personal strategy right now, and how are you executing on that?
Yeah, great question, man. And, I think it has a little bit to do with my age. And I'm not saying being old, but I'm saying like being on the younger side in the sense that, I don't tap into Facebook. I tap into Facebook for my mom. My mom is all over my Facebook, man. Like I tap into this Instagram piece, right? What you were just showing. A little bit more so than anything else. And I tap into the TikTok piece as well. I'm starting to tap into the LinkedIn, and I'm tapping into the YouTube. And, part of it is because that's what I know. Part of it is because of those are the examples that I saw in you know what you know when you don't know what you don't know. Now, we've run Facebook ads and so on and so forth for both personal brand and ads for the Full Circle agency. We've gotten traction there, but my biggest thing, man, and I'm realizing this more and more every single day, that the Full Circle agency is what I love. And the Full Circle agency is that bread and butter for me right now. While I say that, it's crazy, but even more important than the Full Circle agency is personal brand. And so I'm using those platforms, the ones that we just mentioned, more so than that of Facebook, because from my vantage point, from my viewership, with the type of people that I'm getting in front of, and in my demographic and where we come from, like those are a more streamlined way for me to build a personal brand and take time out of the equation, because personal brand, I feel, is everything. And if you have a massive personal brand and your people are loyal and you're loyal to your people, then anything you associate yourself to has the potential to win. The last thing I'll say to that is this. I was watching this documentary. I don't watch a lot of TV, right? The only thing I watch is stuff on money, right? I love to see where the markets are, the markets, the European markets, the US market. I love that stuff. I'll watch, documentaries and bro, When it's football season, man, I ain't watching the game, but it's on in the background because I love people hitting each other. It just is what it is, right? Like, it's just what I like. But I was watching this documentary on, I think it was on Netflix, and it was on the Paul brothers, Logan and Jake Paul.
Yeah, the greatest marketers of our time. Yeah,
greatest marketers of our time. In 2013, they had 14 or 15 million subscribers already to their YouTube channel. Yeah. Now you fast forward to when they released the product, I believe it was Revolt. I think in the first year they did over $250 million in revenue. Bro, there are business owners today who are 65, who have been in business for 30 years, that have never hit $250 million in revenue ever. We're talking about 30 years of being in business, and these guys did that same thing in one freaking year. It may not be because the product is the best. It may not even be because they have exceptional customer service, but it's because they have a power base, they have a network, and they have a following. So does Apple. Look at their bank account. So does Nike. Look at their bank account. So does Tesla. Look at their bank account. So that's why I'm just massive on this personal brand thing, because if you can master that, I mean, you'll never be hungry. That on top of knowing how to sell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's over. And what's crazy about it is people don't do it because they're afraid of the scrutiny. They're afraid of messing up. And what I always tell them, especially when it comes to my clients, is like, that's part of it. You're going to screw up. Heck, that'll give you content and material to put out so other people can learn from it. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, man.
And have you ever had or heard like Jake and Paul have a conversation?
Of course.
They're not the most, articulate dudes. You know what I'm saying? No. Like, they say stupid stuff all the time.
All the time, man. These are good old boys from Ohio.
Exactly. But they have an amazing personal brand because they've leaned into it, and they put every idea that pops in their head, they execute. You know what I'm saying? Awesome. So how many ideas did they have that fell on their face, or that fell flat? Probably 99 of them, but that one, the prime drink or the boxing or whatever the case is, I mean, they're all massive now. And you got guys like me that are 37 years old that are just like perplexed and watching this happen is just like amazed in both adoration and just straight up perplexment, if that's a word. I just made it up.
It's wildness. It's a great example though, man. And it can be done at any state and you just, at any level. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what man, if you just tap into that thing and really figure that thing out, it makes sense. And, unfortunately, it wasn't something that I tapped into until maybe like seriously tapped into. Maybe it's been like a year and a half or 2 years, because before, we were pushing someone else's brand. And in sports, believe it or not, like I remember Jimbo telling us in team meetings, man, he's like, hey, y'all need to, he'd be like, gentlemen. I can hear him screaming now. He'd just be like, hey, y'all need to get off Twitter right now. Y'all need to get off Instagram right now. There is no more of it. If we see you on it, you're running, you're doing push-ups. You ain't playing Clemson. Like, he would just say stuff like that. And yeah, this is in 2000, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 11, up to 12. Like, yeah, I understand it's a different environment. So 10 years ago. Yeah. But man, it's always been like, we couldn't do it then, really, right? And then when you're part of organizations, you got to realize that you are your own entity within an entity. And if you do it, you just got to do it smart. You got to highlight them, and then you got to highlight you as part of them. And so, I'm just getting steam, and like, I'm just looking to figure this thing out. It's starting to take place and it's starting to happen. But damn, I wish my parents told me to do this when I was 2.
Yeah.
No,
I love it. My son and my kids ask me every day for a form of social media. And of course I say no at this point, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm scared crapless of what's out there on the internet. Now we're educating them every day on that stuff. And so I know they could handle it, but at the same time, I want to keep them kids as long as I can. Right. And so, but yeah, and that's the crazy thing is too, is like, and that's what people don't realize. Like, well, I don't have my own business. It doesn't matter. I
Mm-mm.
mean, Jay-Z, I'm a business, and you know what I mean? Like,
Amen.
you never know, and you could be a VP of another company and feel like you're going to retire from that company someday, but you never know. You know, so you always want to be
Mhm.
building your personal brand, and it's only going to help the business that you're in right now. So I agree
Totally.
100% with what you said. Um, what are you excited about right now? Whether it's for you, for your company, what's going on in your life that you're excited about, and that the listeners probably need to hear about?
Yeah, man. I mean, as far as the full circle is concerned,
Hmm.
we're really understanding our identity and who we are. And we went through 3 phases. The full circle's been rocking and rolling for about a year and 6 months, right? Some
Hmm.
would say that's infancy stage, and you're right, it is. But we're not operating like infants because everybody within the organization comes from situations like Grant Cardone, like we know the
Yeah,
game, we understand it.
yeah.
So we're in the phase now where we understand our product, the best product that we can offer from a marketing piece, and we're doubling and
Hmm.
tripling down on retention marketing for medium to large size product and service based brands and e-commerce brands. Okay. And
Okay.
some of our companies that we've done work with and are doing work with currently include, eBay, Lions Not Sheep, Chaos Fishing, Tentacle, AccuBow, Tectonic. Like these are real organizations, man, real
Hmm.
big time organizations. And we're realizing that retention marketing, right? That's that email and text message, campaign build out and automation,
Yeah.
subscriptions and loyalty rewards. That's where we can have the biggest impact immediately because it's all about connecting with your current purchasing population and opening up the opportunity to
Hmm.
win them back and get them to buy again. And we're very, very good at it. We got a team that's phenomenal. They're responsible for billions of dollars generated already doing this. And
Hmm.
our goal and our mission is to be $1 billion valuation organization. Like that's what we want. That's from the full circle side. I'm very excited about this movie, Lake Lanier. This
Hmm.
is going to be bananas. Check it out. Support it if you can. Everybody that's listening, this thing's going to be bananas, man. We are excited. We put a lot of effort into it. A lot of
Hmm.
money went into it, and this is just going to open up. I'm trying to be a damn household name, man. Like I'm trying to be in the news all day, every single day, man. So this is that starting point from that
Yeah.
level. And the third thing that I'll say that I'm incredibly happy with and just excited about is, man, I mean, I got a 2-year-old son and he's a
Yeah.
baller. And, you look at him every single day and it's joy and excitement.
Hmm.
And you know, you understand what I'm saying when I say that,
Yeah.
but it's just a beautiful thing. And I just can't wait till he puts on the damn football helmet, man.
Well, I will make an argument for this. So I played rugby for the past 5 years. I stopped playing a while back. My kids are getting into their sports and everything, but teach them rugby tackling. Please teach
Yes,
them
sir.
rugby tackling. 100%.
Yes, sir.
100%.
Yes, sir. Hey,
Man,
I know a
man.
little bit about 7 on. I know a little bit about the playing the wing, bro. Hey, listen, I can take the rugby rock to the crib,
Let's
bro.
go.
Because
Let's
one of
go.
my best friends in college was on the FSU rugby team. So after
Love
football
it.
practice, we would go play rugby. And we
Uh-huh.
would play sevens. And bro, my outside
Yeah.
flank, hey boy, just get me that rock and
Let's
let me take
go.
off. Let's
I
go.
love it. I love it so much, man. Yeah, I played 15s for 5 years. I was inside center, and then on sevens, obviously I was a prop on sevens because I was a heavier. But no, I
Hell
had
yeah.
a lot of fun doing that. I love hitting people for sure. I miss it so much. Every now and then I'll go and play the old boys tournament. So that's 35 and older. I'll go and play the old boys tournament just to get some of that back. Put on the mouthpiece
Crushing.
again. Yeah,
Hell
for
yeah, man.
sure.
Ain't nothing like it, man. Ain't nothing like it, bud. Ain't nothing like it.
Man, I love it so much. And what I like about your service is you guys. It sounds like y'all have a bit of the e-commerce pinned or cornered a little bit there, especially with
Mm-hmm.
Lions Not Sheep. I mean, that's their game, and I think that's why you probably came across my page is that alignment there with Lions Not Sheep. And then I saw, you were having a conversation with Andy Elliott the other day on one of your pieces. I was actually just
Oh
at
yeah.
his office a couple weeks ago, working
Oh
with
wow.
Maria and Bryson Kirby, a
Yeah.
couple of the salespeople,
Hell
and
yeah.
so there's a lot of alignment happening back and forth. So I can see us doing some business together in the future for sure. Okay,
Absolutely.
last question, probably the most important question.
Let's go.
What does legacy mean to you, and what legacy do you want to leave behind?
Legacy, 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 legacy. You know, legacy can be twofold to me. Legacy is obviously there's a financial piece for me that relates
Mhm.
to legacy, and there's also an impact piece that relates to legacy, and legacy ultimately is my last name, man. It's
Mhm.
Schill. Like, I write down every single day, right? To be a New York Times bestselling author on the cover of Forbes, People, and Vanity Fair, right? To be
Mhm.
living in New York, to help 10 million foster kids find homes because we were adopted. And I understand that could be a struggle. To own a baseball team and a football team, to have 25,000 people paying me every single day in multifamily, to be an incredible partner, incredible father, just an incredible individual. And the last thing I always write down before that is obviously become a household name. Be the
Mhm.
world's number one entertainer. Bro, I love entertaining. Entertaining to me, I think that's really the passion, and I think
Mhm.
that falls in alignment with running a business. But the last thing I always write down is that when I die, that every single damn news channel on the face of the earth stops and says, breaking news, Mike Shaw has passed away at the age of X.
Mhm.
If and when that happens, I did a little something here. Because if that happens, my name will last forever. My
Mhm.
last name will continue to hold clout and credibility. And then
Mhm.
what that does for my offspring and their offspring and their offspring, it just provides them another platform. It provides them maybe one step up. And that's massively important to me because one of my rises, bro, 70 years ago, people that look like me couldn't even drink at the same bubblers that you could drink at.
Right.
70 years ago, yo. 70 years ago, we couldn't do anything. 100 years ago, oh my God. Like, we're coming straight from the, like, everybody else started at one. We started at -10.
Mhm.
Like, straight up. And that's sad. And we still deal with that shit all the time.
Mhm.
All the time. All the time. So it's my responsibility to provide a platform for people of all walks and looks of life to man, to have that one up on other people. And sometimes that hasn't been the case in the past. And
Mhm.
so I got to make sure that that's the case from here moving forward, not only with my son. Hey, who knows, man? Maybe I have another one in the future. But with other people alike, man. So that's
Yeah.
what I feel about legacy, bro. That's what's legacy, you know.
So I know you're gonna fulfill that for two different reasons.
Yeah,
One,
yeah.
you write it down every day.
Hell, we got to.
That alone, your subconscious is automatically gonna start dragging your ass towards that. You know what I'm saying? And then the second one is, you know, ev- one thing that is consistent across all those things, and even the business piece, the 25,000 people paying you, is the entertainer. And so
Mm,
again, when you talk about alignment, that's great and everything, but what drew me to you and the reason that I wanted to have you on the show was your content and the entertaining aspects of it. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
And so when you look at some of the greatest names in history, they were amazing speakers, entertainers, and they could captivate an audience. You know what I'm saying? And
right.
so that's one of the things that I recognize that you have, that I feel like you can execute on all those things 100%. So
Hey, I appreciate that, man.
yeah,
For real.
absolutely. Dude, it's been an honor having you on the show. I think you've given our listeners more than enough value. They need to make sure they go and follow you. Where can they follow you at?
Yeah, you can check me out, man. Check me out on Instagram. Well, yeah, if you check me out on Instagram, great. Mike Schill underscore MikeSchill_. It's the same situation for Twitter.
Mhm.
Same deal for TikTok, right? And you can find me on YouTube as well. If you find me on Facebook, man, just know that my mom has all my feed and love her to death, and that's how it should be, man. That's how it should be.
We'll
That's
have everything. Yeah, we'll have everything linked in the show notes too. Again, I appreciate you coming on, brother. It's been an honor. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the listeners, man. I appreciate your time. I know it's money and my intention is never wasted. So I got you.
I love it. Let's get building.
Yes, sir.